Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Distance learners are available. Gonna give it a few more minutes. Good morning. Good morning. All right, we'll go at 10:10. Hopefully, we have a start. Give it another second, and then we're gonna jump in with prosperity and get into product stuff. Mod 5. We'll give it a minute. How'd you guys do with your stories and getting them all extra beautiful? Not beautiful, it's not the right word, but extra feely.
Better, I think.
Yeah. Stories are key.
And going overboard with what you think might be right is like being on stage. You know what I mean? It's like projecting into that call. You know what I mean? More than, you know what I mean?
No,
No? You don't think so?
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, that means that when you're on the phone with them, you know,
We're
being
talking
very,
about stories or
yeah, intense when you're trying to give that to them. You know what I mean? Like the tearjerker things, being intense, like, you know.
yeah, you have to deliver them. You not just saying it, but you have to
Yes.
use tonality and emotion and all that. Yes. This is a performance.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
Like being on stage.
Yes. There you go.
Finally got there. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's Friday, you know.
And I'm excited. I actually got some sleep, so I feel much better Because see, my schedule didn't match this. It's getting there.
You're with us, and we appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being here.
Alright.
All right, baby. You and I are gonna get to be friends. Come on. Open up the computer. Let's see, what are you gonna be named?
And today, because it was asked, I'll address it so you guys are all aware, today was payday, but since we were paid for the 2 weeks prior to now, you guys will get paid not next week, but the following week, the 29th.
So you hold back 2 weeks on us?
Yes. No, it's not held back,
It's
but
not
we're
held back,
currently
but it's
in
just
the pay period,
you
so,
The pay period just started, so
Mhm.
we came in at the beginning of the pay period.
yes.
So when we get paid, how many weeks will we be paid for?
Two
Two.
weeks.
Because we'll have worked 2 weeks.
Cool, cool. Thank you. It's gonna look better. It's encouraging.
While we are waiting, take a minute and read through mod 5 in your binder. The key points in mod 5, or the key points for mod 5. And that starts on page 32. The product. Oh, jeez. How about that? Reading my mind. All right. I'm gonna give this back to you, Miss Karen, but I will take it back in a few because, but I really want to have this while we're going over the launch. I'll just give you that one. While we're going over the prosperity stuff.
So what does this mean, cigarettes only?
Prosperity is asking about, when it asks about the smoker status, we're gonna go over it together,
Oh, okay.
but, when it's asking about smoker status, it's cigarette specific.
Oh, so not like cigars and pipes and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
just cigarettes? Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
One of the many reasons why we love prosperity.
so you can smoke stogies and still be cool.
Smoke too much, just don't
Well,
let
so
it
many
get
per year.
One.
Most insurance companies will allow you without tagging as a smoker so many cigars per year. like for getting term life insurance and stuff, or even this kind, they won't always stop you for different companies.
You know, she just called me, right? Yeah, I thought you told her.
She probably she's an hour behind, so she probably, have a moment there. Text her. I'm gonna email you those things, figuring out Jason, because I'm still having trouble. All right, so good morning and hello, good morning and hello. We are going to jump in to prosperity finally. I'm sure you guys have been long awaiting the beautifulness behind the product, because prosperity is a very, very, very good product. Takeaways, quick recap for mods 1 through 4. Mod 1, we are in the intro, and we want to make sure that our what is setting the tone for the call. Anybody, somebody. Voice, tone, tonality, yes? Okay, yeah. Voice sets the tone for the call. Mod 2, we are making sure that we're not leaving Mod 2 without,
Building trust and rapport.
yes, trust and rapport, bringing them to our side of the table. Mod 3, we are putting on what hat?
We gotta put on
The health
the
hat.
business, the health hat.
Yes, the medical hat. You are their doctor, not really their doctor, but you definitely want to put the medical hat on, ask the questions you need to so that you can get clear answers on yeses or nos and move forward. Again, if they're asking what something is, chances are they do not have it. You can let them know that. And also you want to make sure that you are being very clear and concise and pronouncing and enunciating those diseases and things to make sure that you don't sound like this is your first time doing it. So that's something to be mindful of and take your time with when we do start role playing so that you can get used to saying those words, because some of them are a little bit ugly. And then Mod 4, what was your biggest takeaway from Mod 4 in your stories, Ms. Crystal with the K?
That we need to use our feeling words as much as possible.
Yes.
When I rewrote my story at the end of class yesterday, I used lots of words: angry and heartbroken,
Good.
traumatized.
Good. What about you, Miss Helen?
I have not typed mine up.
Hannah? What's your biggest takeaway from Mod 4 yesterday? What did you take
What
away?
was my biggest takeaway from it?
With your stories, what do you need to make sure?
That I put a lot of emotion into it, and that I expand more on it, and go into more detail, and that I incorporate some of these stories that I heard while I was in here.
Good stuff. Okay,
That's what I'm
thank you. Miss Susan, biggest takeaway about Mod 4 yesterday?
Paint a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
And to expound upon words like humiliated, embarrassed. I don't want
Feeling
to
words. Yes, evoke emotion. Yes.
My stories are a work in progress.
Okay, good. And they will always be. They will be evolving. You'll learn to get better at them, but being good at delivering a story, everything about the process is a performance. So the story aspect of it and delivering them, not just well, but also at the right time and being actively listening so that you're aware of when to interject those stories and transition back into the script and, praise them after. And this is why I'm glad that we are speaking today, so that this isn't a situation that your family will be in. All of those things are definitely key elements when implementing your stories. What did you take away, Ms. Karen?
Just getting touchy-feely. You want to get them, in the emotion of what if, sharing a little bit more about you,
Right.
your personal experiences or third-party stories.
Yes.
To get them in there going, you know what, I really need this.
You gotta make them feel. You gotta make them feel. Miss Madison and Miss Andrea, if you guys want to drop a couple words, something quick and easy about your biggest takeaway from your stories on yesterday. Bless you.
Thank you.
And Miss Toy, what was your biggest takeaway from the stories and Mod 4 in general?
The biggest takeaway is definitely just that emotion, because like I was explaining with you, when it comes to that, certain things, it's just like, I'm a crybaby. And
So yeah, you have a different
So-
thing to work on than everyone
Yes,
else.
I
You
have
are
to work
able
on
to
not-
evoke that
Yes.
emotion, so you're gonna want to make sure you can reel it in. But still, the feeling words and using those as well. But that's definitely a point, or a place that you'll have to be mindful of,
yes.
because you still want to be able to go in and come out, and again, them getting engaged, they'll feel that, and they'll be able to feel it if you just go a little less far with it than pull yourself back a little bit, it will still get them to where you're
It'll
trying
be
to get them
effective,
to.
and that's
Mhm.
the thing I'm trying to like take from it, but I want it to still, I don't
Be
want it to
genuine.
seem, exactly, I don't want it to seem disingenuous, like, oh, she just made that up.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, you can be genuine and just, I could go, and even when you stop, I could go on, but I won't make you cry because I'm trying to keep it. You even saying
Honest,
things like
yeah.
that, which is honest, so that they'll feel and know, but you'll get it. You'll definitely get it. Well, let me put on my good eyes. I gave away all my glass.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding. I just need to change my contacts. Biggest takeaway is that Miss Madison says she needs to make her stories a little more emotional and hit on pain points. Yes, the voice needs to emit more emotion. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Andrea, your biggest takeaway was making sure that you track and transition in a way that doesn't seem too abrasive. Yes, 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 yes. Good stuff. All right, so you guys are learning stuff. We like it, and you will continue to learn and evolve. Again, this is not. You should learn something every day, even outside of training, and even as you guys start taking calls, you'll even take away again from some of the stories that your clients give you as well. Ms. Madison, you'll be in a bit of a different situation because you won't be able to hear the other agents and feed off of them. But we'll get into monitoring, and you can always pop on, not during new business hours, but you guys will be able to listen to agents' calls. There is an archive. I'll show you guys how to go in and pull some calls so that you can get some insight, get some perspective, but be mindful of, you'll hear people that are not on process at certain spots, and don't take that and run with it, because that may be something that they've been coached on or coached to, and they're working on correcting. So don't learn anyone's bad habits, but pick up on the things from it that you see that, okay, well, this is how they do it. If it's in the process, good. If it's not, let it go, because again, that you may be able to say, "Oh, I listened to this," and pick out points that were not on the process, and you don't want to do that. Even if, let's say, you happen to be off process and you get a call, you get a policy written, you don't want to get used to getting policies written in the wrong way, because you'll hit a slump. You'll hit them, and you'll be so far off the process because you got comfortable. Oh, this was working. It worked twice. That doesn't mean that, number one, the policy may not stick, especially if you're not accomplishing the goals behind each mod, because they're all done for a purpose, especially in regards to the clientele that we're dealing with and the demographic of the clientele that we're dealing with. So, all right, now as far as the product, we'll listen to Prosperity's video. We'll listen to Prosperity's product intro video, and then we'll break it down a little bit.
Oh, good. Products.
Are you ready for it? There you go. There you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Candace. I'm with the marketing department for Prosperity Life Insurance Group, and I would like to take a few minutes and introduce you to our final expense
Sound good?
product called New Vista.
Yes.
Prosperity Life Insurance Group is a relatively new name in the final expense space. We've actually been in business over 100 years. Collectively, our member companies are SBLI USA, Shenandoah Life, Insurance Company, and SUSA. So SBL Life typically sells primarily in the state of New York, and Shenandoah Life was really a pioneer in the final expense space all throughout the Southeast for many years, and we currently are selling Medicare Supplement under that brand. SUSA will be the most common brand name that you'll see associated with the final expense product. This is really our national marketing brand for this plan. So together, these companies, all three have an A- AM Best rating and over 12 billion of life insurance in force. So, with licenses in almost all 50 states, the New Vista product is in, I believe, 42 states now, most of which we can do telesales in as well. Just provides a really great marketplace for your clients. So let's get right into the New Vista product. This is your typical whole life final expense plan. So it's gonna guarantee that the premiums are level and fixed throughout the life of the contract. As long as your client makes their payments, their premiums are gonna stay exactly the same rate as you quoted them. The coverage is not going to be canceled, like I said, unless they miss a payment. We do offer a 30-day grace period, so they've got a little cushion time there. But as long as the insurance is in force and paid for, you can rest assured knowing that your clients are protected. The product will build cash value over some time, and it is simple issues. So there's not a lot of underwriting. It's a few health questions. We check MIB and their prescription history, and we also go off of a height and weight chart. This product can be sold to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. It does offer an accidental death benefit rider, which would fall off at age 75, so can't sell that optional benefit past the age of 74. We offer face amounts as low as $1,500 all the way up to $35,000, so we try to, make it meet any budget. And it is, like I said, a simplified issue product. It's smoker distinct. And this is really a key point on this product. Our smoker distinction is based on cigarette usage only. So we don't count pipes or cigars or smokeless tobacco or vaping of any sort. Even cannabis usage that's legal in several states now would not be considered for the smoking class. So it's truly cigarette usage only and within the last 12 months. So premiums are going to be based on their age at issue, and it's truly their current age or age last birthday, their gender, and whether they smoke cigarettes or not. The premiums are level and fixed and will build cash value, like we mentioned. Premium options, we do offer direct bill if that is their preference. However, we don't offer that on a monthly basis. And they want to
We do
pay.
not offer direct bill. And that does not pay commission. We don't offer direct bill. So it is an option, but we go with EFT.
By direct bill, they can do that annually, semi-annually, or quarterly. With our EFT drafts, we can draft checking or savings accounts annually, semi-annually, quarterly, or monthly. So generally monthly is the way these clients tend to go. There is a $40 policy fee built into the annual premium. This policy fee is commissionable. This breaks down into $3.60 per month, and you'll see that our quoting tool does include that $3.60 in automatically, so you don't have to calculate it separately when you're quoting premium. So underwriting, just to recap that, is based on the way they answer the health questions, which we'll take a look at, their MIB and prescription drug history. They must fall within a specific height and weight. We use a height and weight chart. It's very generous. You'll find this in our agent guide as well as our quick fact sheet. So I encourage you to log into the agent portal, hit the resources button. It's right there in the center of the screen when you first log in, and go through the materials that are listed there. That's where all of your information will really come into play. We use Aptical for all of our underwriting. So typically you know, you want to use Aptical at the point of sale for the fastest decision. If they are not able to render a decision, sometimes the answer the client gives to a question doesn't match what hits their prescription history or MIB. Sometimes they can't come to a decision and they will send it over to the home office for processing. If this happens, you will hear from an underwriter generally within 24 hours. I would say 24 to 48 hours, you'll get an email from the underwriter letting you know what's required in order to finish processing the application. The product automatically has an accelerated death benefit feature built right in unless you're selling in the state of California. That's just not available in that one state, but it is built in, no additional charge. In case of a terminal illness, they would have access to up to 50% of the face amount. We do offer a accidental death benefit rider, as I mentioned before. It can be added to all 3 plan options, which we'll look at next. And like I said, they must be 74 or younger to apply for that. So let's take a look at our 3 plan options. This product offers level, graded, and modified to try and meet, you know, any health concern or most health concerns with your client's health. So all 3 plans are offered at the same issue ages, 50 to 80. They all 3 offer the accelerated death benefit feature that's built in automatically unless you're settling in California.
Sorry, there is a fact sheet in the back of your binders, so you guys will have that. Madison, I just emailed that to you, because I don't know if you got your binders yet, but there's a fact sheet in there that'll have all of this information. So it's just a quick cheat sheet so that you don't have to try to remember. You see yours, Ms. Crystal?
Yes. I've read it.
Yeah. The difference is truly when the full death benefit is available. So with the level plan, these are your healthier clients. They have access to the full face amount from day 1 of coverage. So as soon as the policy is placed in force, they've made that first payment, they are covered with the full face amount of the policy. With the graded plan, so this is your you know, slightly less healthy, certain health conditions, we'll put them in this category, we'll look at those. And this is for a non-accidental death. They would receive 30% of the face amount in year 1, 70% of the face amount in year 2, and then full face amount in year 3 and moving forward. With your modified plan, this is your return of premium option. So this is for your less healthy clientele. And we'll also look at the conditions that would put them in this category. So what makes this a little different than a lot of other carriers, most of their carriers in the first 2 years are going to only offer a 10% return of premium or 10% over. With ours, you'll get that additional 10% back so 100% of the premium paid in plus an additional 10% in year 1. In year 2, that goes to 31%. So they would get 2 years worth of annual premium plus an additional 31% of that back if they were to die in year 2. Now, this is only for an accidental, non-accidental death. If they've added the accidental death benefit rider, no matter which plan they qualify for, that accidental death full face amount, double coverage, so it'll be 2 times the base amount in years 1 and 2, so double the face amount, we'll call it, is available in you know, years 1 and 2, even on that graded and modified plan. So absolutely no reason not to upsell that feature if they're within the required age. It's generally only a couple extra dollars a month, and really, if they were to die in an accident, I mean, having double coverage is just, their families just would be so appreciative. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, everything else works exactly the same on all 3 plans, including, and this is huge, your commission payment. So you will not take a commission hit for selling graded and modified plans. We also will penalize you for doing that. We feel like these plans are priced appropriately. So, you know, we're not going to penalize you or, you know, put you on any kind of probation for selling too much graded or modified. And that's, you know, that's a big deal. Your commission level, whatever your current level is going to be paid exactly the same percentage no matter which plan type your client qualifies for. So how do we qualify them for the plans? We use a series of health questions broken into 3 parts. You've got Part A, Part B, and Part C listed on the application. So we're gonna look at the answers to those medical questions coupled with the prescription history. So we want you to make sure you're familiar with the prescription list, check all their prescriptions before you do the interview, and also check that height and weight chart. So let's look at the application questions. The very first question, as I mentioned before with the smoker question, is has the proposed insured smoked cigarettes in the past 12 months? If this is yes, of course, check yes, they'll qualify for smoker rates. And if it's anything other than cigarettes in the past 12 months, check no. You'll want to fill in their height and weight, and then move into your knockout questions, which is Part A. So if there's a yes answer in Part A, unfortunately, your client will not qualify for this particular product.
So the knockouts are what were at the beginning in Mod 1, everything else was left in Mod 3, but again, they were moved intentionally so you don't get all the way in Mod 3 and realize that the person doesn't qualify for coverage.
So these are questions like, have they been recently hospitalized, receiving hospice or home health care? Are they in a nursing home? Are they confined to a wheelchair due to a disease or waiting for an organ transplant? Do they require assistance, human assistance with their activities of daily living? Are they on oxygen, kidney dialysis? Do they have AIDS or HIV? ALS, cirrhosis of the liver stage C would be a knockout, as well as if they've had more than one occurrence of cancer. So any of those items would unfortunately knock them out of coverage, and you would not want to proceed through the rest of the health questions. Part B are going to be your modified questions. So again, this is that return of premium plus 10% the first year plus 31% in the second year. So these are things like, have they been hospitalized for abusing alcohol or drugs? Do they have complications of diabetes? Now, let me stop here because this is the only thing we ask about diabetes. If you've got healthy diabetics controlling their condition with diet or insulin, great. We will cover them as level. So 90% of your diabetics can be covered level from day 1. Now, if they do experience complications from their diabetes, such as diabetic coma, insulin shock, have had an amputation, or any other type of complication, might be neuropathy, retinopathy, any of those things would be considered if they're complications of diabetes. You want to make sure they check yes on this question. Heart attack, angina, this is your congestive heart failure, stroke, if they've had any kind of heart surgery, this will be a yes answer, they will qualify for modified. This also is your cancer question, so if they're being treated or have been treated in the last 3 years, or taking medication for any type of cancer, excluding, of course, the basal cell skin cancer that a lot of people just get removed and there's no real treatment for it, just removed. That doesn't count. But any other type of cancer, this will be a yes answer. In the past 2 years, have they been convicted for more than one conviction for reckless driving or DUI? That's a yes answer. If they've had more than one, you'll want to check yes there. Moving ahead into the graded death benefit question. So this is your 30-70 face amount percentage in years 1 and 2. So these are going to be conditions like Parkinson's, sickle cell, lupus, cirrhosis of the liver stage A or B, chronic hepatitis, or any other kind of liver, kidney failure, kidney disease. This is your COPD, emphysema, black lung, tuberculosis. COPD tends to be a more common thing in our seniors, so that's going to put them in the graded category on this product. And also some of your mental disorders like bipolar, schizophrenia, or if they've been hospitalized for any kind of mental condition in the last 2 years. So if you get through parts A, B, and C with all no answers, then they should qualify for the level death benefit. So why Prosperity? Well, again, like we said, it's diabetic friendly. So as long as they're well controlled, they're healthy diabetics, you can cover them day 1. We do pay the same commission levels on level, graded, and modified. That's a huge advantage over most other carriers that will penalize you for the step-down plans. We do offer advances paid out as often as daily. We can go weekly or monthly, whatever your preference also. We can also accept the Social Security Direct Express debit card. Now, just to note here, this, we can take this card. It's the only type of plastic MasterCard Visa that we are able to accept, just the Direct Express card, and we do not pay any advances on these. So we do accept it.
Okay, we do not take, they may allow it, but we ask that question up front to confirm that they do not have that, because while Prosperity does, like she just said, they don't pay advances on the Direct Express, so it would be paid as earned, which means you would just get paid every month, a very small percent, or whatever the percentage of a much smaller amount versus a 9-month advance and a percentage of that. But in addition to that, the question is asked up front because people that only have Direct Express, and we discussed this, but just to reiterate, people that have those types of accounts only typically are not good policies. It's not worth it. They lapse, they don't maintain their banking very well. That's why they only have Direct Express, or, and you don't want, it's just bad business. It's not clean business. You'll spend most of your time chasing them down and trying to get them to pay so that you can get a small percentage of that month's premium versus an actual ACH debit account that is set up for EFT. And remember, we do EFT only. You with us, Crystal?
Yeah. EFT only.
Them if it's their only method of payment. Otherwise, we, typically recommend you try to get an EFT draft to their checking or savings, so that we can pay in advance on that plan. We can align the payment date if necessary with their Social Security payment dates. We'll allow you to choose any day of the month between the 1st and the 28th, as well as you can select the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th Wednesday if they're getting their benefit on one of those Wednesday bill dates. And just keep in mind, we are an A- AMS rated company. It's a great selling tool for you. So let's take a quick look at how you can submit an application. So we've got 4 different options for you. You can decide what works the best. We use Aptical for all of our underwriting. They also power the web portal in which you can do e-applications and a mobile app on your cell phone. So we'll take a look at all these different options. They all work almost identically, so I won't take you step by step through each one, because once you understand how one operates, you can apply that over whichever method works best for you.
We do voice app only, New Vista Voice. That's easy to remember because you are over the phone. So it is only the New Vista Voice app that you'll select. The other options, she's gonna go through the voice application, but just keep that in mind. This will make more sense and you guys will see it when you get into the actual, once you guys have access, because you guys won't have access for, hopefully it's sooner than later. You guys did the contracting, so I'm hoping that by Monday, if not Tuesday, you guys all start getting access to your Prosperity portal. And that is where we'll go through the voice application and really walk through. So this will give you some insight on what that will be, but we will go into that further once you guys actually have access and you can see it more.
For you. So our New Vista Voice product and our New Vista e-application are available through the Live App web portal offered by Aptical. You'll get your credentials for Live App and the mobile app when you get your welcome email. So if you're a new agent, you've got your welcome email. Take a look at that. It's got a link into the Live App portal so you can do a voice application for those of you selling over the phone. Or for those of you selling in the field, you can use the e-application. The Aptical Mobile is a cell phone app. You can just go right to the Play Store or the iTunes Store and download that. It has a rate calculator built into it, so you can use that for mobile quoting. And also, you can process an entire application if you're face-to-face with someone. And then traditionally, we do offer that paper application if none of these technology methods will work for you. Usually takes about 1 to 2 extra days in processing, just because everything has to get keyed in manually. So what I'm gonna do is just show you the example of the voice application, because all of the
Okay,
screens
make sure
work
you're
only
watching this, but again,
identical
you'll see it
between the
again.
voice app, the e-app, and the lab app, mobile app product. So
Can't
voice
see, you guys may
applications
not
have
be
a couple
able to.
different stipulations.
I'll send you
with
guys a
them.
link to this video so you
We're
can
not
see it.
able to do telesales in Maine, New York, or Pennsylvania. But across most other states, the voice applications are permitted. So when you receive your live app credentials in that welcome email, you'll click the link. You'll get to enter in your user ID and password that we provide to you. And this will take you right to the live app portal. You'll see a blank white screen with a black menu bar at the top. So you'll want to start over here at the application option. Just use the little caret beside application to drop down the menu, and you will have the first option there will be new application. You'll also have a rate calculator there if you just want to run some quoting. So you can always use Aptical's website for quoting also. So from new application, it's going to ask you to select the company first. It's always going to be Prosperity Life, SUSA, New Vista. The product will either be New Vista Voice or New Vista e-application. Then you'll select the stage that you're selling in. Rest, you can leave blank. The language will always be English. It's the only language that we market in currently. We do not offer Spanish marketing. And then you'll hit next at the bottom of your screen. So you'll always see previous, next, or stop. Next proceeds to the next screen. Previous will take you back one. And stop will allow you to just stop where you are, save it, so you can pick it back up later if you need to. So the first thing you'll see is the rate calculator. You'll want to key in all your clients' information, select their payment term, whether they want that accidental death benefit rider. You can calculate based on premium amount, so they have a certain budget, or you can select the base amount. Once you hit calculate, you're going to see 3 different results pop up for the level, the graded, and the modified. This is the part where you want to make sure you know which plan they're going to qualify for when you select one to proceed with. So select the correct option and hit create application. It's going to walk you through, looks very much, the questions are identical to the paper application. You're just going to key in the client's information. Literally just walks you through the entire first page of the paper application. With the voice application, one thing to note, voice application and the Live App Air mobile technology, the cell phone app, you cannot replace coverage. So you can do an additional application if they want to add new coverage, but if you're going to be replacing a policy, you want to use either the e-application face-to-face with them or a paper application. So
we are able to replace over the phone now. This is an older video, but you are able to do replacements over the phone. Anytime you're replacing a policy, just to be clear and be sure and to make sure that you are doing the right thing by the customer is the main thing. If it's in the customer's best interest to do a replacement, then you do a replacement. There are additional disclosures that the client will have to respond to during underwriting. But again, if you are replacing, you can replace over the phone, just make sure that it is a better option for the client. You can even suggest to the client to not replace and wait till they get everything in the mail, review everything together. But this is not the case anymore. As far as what she's saying, we are able to.
The one thing that's different about the New Vista Voice, the telesales application, is it does offer you the opportunity to email the required disclosures to your client ahead of the call. This will save you.
Also, those disclosures that she's speaking about, that has also changed. They do ask now, instead of the disclosures, if you received a blank application link from your agent, that you guys will have. It's actually a hyperlink in the script that you can send them. Usually I send it via text because it's faster for them to get, because they may not be on email. or have access to email, but and we'll discuss that when we do the underwriting prep, but you do, it's a link that you send them with the full application, which also within the application has all the disclosures.
That's after you've completed the app though, right? Not before?
That is, while you're going through the application, you can send it at any point. It's your call. You don't want to tell the client, wait, hold on, I'm sending you a blank application link, because then they'll think that everything's over. Okay, bye, thank you, and they're gone. So before you get them over to underwriting, you want to make sure you send it, but you don't want to make that a hard halt, because the clients may take it as, oh, we've been on the phone, okay, thank you. No, you just transition into the application, and we haven't hit mod 7, but we'll talk about that, what verbiage to use so that that's a smooth transition.
About 10 minutes. If they have an email address, always get that and email. You can download these disclosures right off our agent portal, attach them to an email, and send them over before they do the phone interview. If they don't have an email address, that's okay. Just select no to these questions here that asks if you sent them, and they'll just listen to a recorded playback. But like I said, that's going to take probably 10 to 12 minutes, depending on what state they're in and how many disclosures are required. So if you can email them ahead of time, it will definitely save you some time. Won't be applicable on the e-application or the mobile app, as they'll be able to view a copy on the mobile device that you're showing them. So from there, you'll just fill in their demographic information, contact info, social, date of birth. You want to confirm the benefit amount, the face amount, and whether they're selecting the optional rider. It's going to confirm their premium amount, and it's going to ask if a future draft date is requested. So if you select no here, we're going to go ahead and bill them for their monthly premium at the time we receive the application. But if they want to pay on a specific date, just select yes. You'll have 30 days from the date of application to collect that first payment. So just make sure you're selecting a future date that is within 30 days of your application. And that's the day of the month that we'll bill each month to them. So it can be any day between the 1st and the 28th, or it'll also give you the option to select a certain Wednesday if they are billing, on 2nd, 3rd, or 4th Wednesday. So it's just going to ask you to confirm their premium mode, how frequently they're going to pay, who should receive the premium notices, and whether they want to select the automatic premium loan option. That's totally up to them. It's also going to ask how they're going to pay. So you'll select either the checking or savings, which is the first option. Savings is okay too. I know it just says checking here, but savings is okay too. Or the direct express master.
It does give you the option now of checking or savings. And don't get too caught up in this, because we will deep dive into the actual app once we touch on mod 7. So I do want you to see it just because we're here anyways, but we'll talk more about that and you guys will see it, and you guys will have a chance to go through and click around in an application while you're role playing.
Card, like I said, it must start with those certain digits. We can only take the direct express, or if they're being direct billed. So you'll just fill in your payment information. And then it moves right into beneficiary information. It's going to allow you to add up to, I think, 3 beneficiaries through the e-application or the New Vista Voice app through the Live App portal. You can always, it'll ask you for primary and contingent beneficiaries, so it gives you several options. And just, assure your client that if they change beneficiaries down the road, it's not a big deal. They can just call customer service. They can change these as often as they want to. You're almost finished at this point. You're going to provide your agent certification, just certifying that everything's true and to the best of your knowledge. And then it's actually going to pre-fill your agent information. When you're logged in as yourself, all of your personal information will populate here. You'll just want to review it, make sure it's all still accurate. If everything looks good, the very last thing before you hit finish is going to be the comments box. So it's the very last question shown here. And this is going to allow you to add any additional information that the home office might need to know. So if there's something, special with their payment method, if they're using a savings account, notate that here. If you're splitting commissions with another agent, please let us know that here. So if you're doing the voice application, you're gonna hit finish and submit that application. It's gonna give you a reference number. It's gonna pop up with the 7-digit reference number and the telephone number to call to complete the voice signature process. So if you're doing voice, just jot down this number. It gives you, call the 800 number for Actical and press option 1. You'll wanna let your interviewer know that you're doing a voice signature application and that you've got a reference number to give them. That helps them find the application very quickly so that you can get right into the interview. Usually your interview for a voice application is gonna take about 15 minutes, give or take 5 or 10 minutes based on whether you've provided those disclosures via email. Just remember that does add a little time. So during the call, you'll wanna stay on the phone, on this 3-way call with your interviewer the whole time, just in case there is a question. They're just gonna go through and validate things with the client. They're gonna do an identity check and make sure, so just double, super, triple check that you've got the right date of birth and social security number, because if those items are wrong, they will not be able to proceed through the interview. They'll ask about the disclosures, and if they need to, they'll play the recordings. They'll ask the medical questions, run the checks, and then give you a decision. So if the decision results, let's say they applied for a level, but it came back as graded based on the medication they're taking or something like that, then they will offer them the graded plan and they'll re-quote it for you. So they can, they can adjust the face amount at that point if you need to go up or down to meet the budget. So once everything is completed, they will get the voice signatures and everything will be submitted to the home office. There's absolutely nothing for you to do at the conclusion of this call. So nothing to email or fax, they'll just send everything right over to us. The e-application works the almost exact same way. So you're gonna log into that same Actical web portal, and when you choose your
All right. So that was view 1 of the application, but you guys will be, again, very comfortable and aware of how the voice application works. But I wanted you to at least see it once. So now if you can bring your brains back from the application into the product itself and Prosperity. Really, really, really good product. Really good features and benefits. A few things that she pointed out that are really, really good with Prosperity. That smoking status is huge. As far as just being cigarette smoke. So you want to make sure that that's huge. That's really big. So if they say they're a smoker, you can verify, confirm. Sometimes they'll say, well, I smoke this. Usually it's marijuana when they clarify, and they may make it a joke, but smoking only consists of cigarettes in regards to rates with Prosperity. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about non-accident modified with the return of premium in the first, second, and third year. I wasn't able to write it down. I mean, I get that, in the second year, if they've got the accident rider on there, you just double all those, for each of the 3 years. But what's the percentage on the return of premium in the first year?
Okay, so graded and modified, 2 different ways that works. Accidental with Prosperity, they will get paid double the face value of the policy regardless of what type of coverage they have, be it level graded or modified. It's paid out double from day 1. Well, after they make the initial premium, they get the accidental death. So that's why when it's presented, it's not almost presented. It's presented as a no-brainer. If they qualify for the accidental death, meaning that they are at least, or they're under 74, you want to offer it to them, because paying a couple dollars and meaning that you're covered from day 1 from an accident, it almost doesn't make sense not to offer that to the client. You don't want to not tell them about it and not mention that it will add a few dollars to their premium each month, but again, it only makes sense to add it if they are eligible for it. Now, the as far as the payout. So graded and modified. During the first year with graded, and this is on the cheat sheet. That's why I was telling you to pull it on the cheat sheet. It's on the cheat sheet. So graded during the first year, they will get, if they pass due to anything non-accidental during the first year, then it is 30% of the face value that they will receive. So they will get 30% of the face value. $10,000 policy, the first year they'll get $3,000. If they pass within the second year, it's 70% of the face amount. So if they pass within the second year, non-accidental, they get 7,000.
But if
Anything,
if they add the additional accidental death, which doubles it, it'd actually be 13,000.
no, it's double the face amount, like the full face amount from day one. So regardless of when they pass, if they pass due to an accident, they will get $20,000 if it's due to an
Yeah,
accident.
okay, now.
But if it's not an accident.
So,
it's on the
Gotcha.
Non-accidental would be, anything health related typically, which would mean that that's why they have the 2 years where they wanted to watch you a little bit, but if it's due to an accident, then
Straight up.
100%
Gotcha.
double
Okay.
100%, yes.
So is an accident like, let's say, they're elderly and they fall and they break their hip and it causes complications in the hospital and they die, is that?
There's a
accidental?
time frame that's given, but if that, because I know from even the test, when you take it, it'll tell you like you have like 14 days for it to be considered from the accident versus if it's really complications because you got. So it's a few things that would determine that. We're not going to go into that with the client, but accidental death, accident, fire, get struck by lightning, boat,
Car
whatever, car accident, yeah, all of that would be considered accidental. But now in the with the modified plan, within the first calendar year, if they pass due to anything, again, this is non-accidental, if they pass within the first calendar year, they'll get 100, or the beneficiary will get 110% of whatever was supposed to be paid in during year one. So even if they only make one premium payment that year, the beneficiary will receive anything that was supposed to be paid in year one plus 10%. So they'll get 110%
That's of the
of
premiums.
the premiums, yes,
Right, okay.
premiums
I
paid
was like,
in.
what, they get paid more?
No, whatever was scheduled to be, so the AEP, they get 110% of the premiums. Now, if they pass in the second year, then they would get 230%. So everything that was supposed to have been paid for the first 2 years plus 30%. Yes? Makes sense? This is a huge benefit because not many other people, I don't know of any other company, there may be another, but that's big when it comes to Prosperity and just their modified and graded benefits because not everyone does that. Again, I don't know anyone else that does, not that I know all the companies, but so that's something that you want to know. They are diabetic friendly. We don't want to tell the clients that, but we know that. We don't, because again, we're wanting to build out. You're building out. So you're not going to, if they give you 1 million diabetic meds and insulin this and 17 units of that, oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Prosperity doesn't care. Number one, that's in my 3, and we haven't even brought up Prosperity. But number 2, we want to build out. We want to create a sense of urgency. So, but that is something for you to know that it is diabetic friendly. They are diabetic friendly.
Year 3 is just normal.
Anything past year 2 would be paid in full, face amount paid out. It's 50 to 80 in which they qualify for coverage. Everything's right here on the cheat sheet. Other than that, we talked about the smoker status. We'll go through the points on the product so you guys can, page 32. Someone wants to take that first bullet.
So, just a quick question.
Yeah.
I was reading on here that the accidental death rider falls off automatically at 75.
Yes.
So they've been paying for it the whole time, say they got it at 50, do they get any of that back?
No. Just like insurance, period, you pay if nothing happens, yes, in case stuff.
And Paul's on the
It's okay.
75, and in the video, she said we can't write that on a policy after the age of 74.
It will not allow you to select accidental death past 74. It is only available, it falls off
50 to
after
70.
75. So if they're past 74, then they don't qualify for it. If they have it, it no longer is available. It's no longer valid. But good question.
First bullet point, this module is vital. If we built rapport properly throughout the call, and if we built it out properly, then this module will allow you to inform the customer about who we hope we can.
Who we hope we can get them approved with and exactly why we hope so.
Okay, that just came up so weird for me.
So, yes, so again, building down, and then okay, so this is who we're hoping for. And you guys heard all the great reasons why it is a really good product. Moving forward, we will have other options, but anything that you're offering to them as their agent for life should be the best option for them, and you want to present it as such. So yes, hopeful. Crystal C, welcome. Go to second point for us, please.
We should have the decision on coverage back any second, but in the meantime, we want them hoping against hope that they get approved with Prosperity, and we're going to tell them exactly why we're hoping they get approved with Prosperity too.
Who is Prosperity, what the product is called, and why they are special. So you want to present this mind, just like all of them, you want to be enthusiastic. You want to sound hopeful. You want to build that anticipation. They'll cry, they'll hope, they will pray. Oh, pray with me. Hopefully we can get it because I know I've been sick. You want that. You don't want them. Well, again, one time I think I built too much down. The lady was like, well, I probably won't get it anyways. Why are you even? And no, we're going to do what I can do. And we have access to stuff. I'm your agent for life. I told you I'm over here working for you. But you want them to anticipate the approval. 5, Miss Karen, benefits 1 through 5.
Benefits 1 through 5, like most of our script, there are multiple reasons why this is written and how it's written. We want them to know in order the top 5 reasons why so many of our clients love New Vista. We want to list them in order with tonality and emotion so that there is an emotional buildup to the approval coming through. The second reason we list them in this way is to condition them to give us an affirmative response. At the end of each benefit, 1 through 5, we want to get an affirmative response that particular benefit is attractive. This gets them in the mood of saying yes before we quote them coverage amounts.
So literally right there, verbatim, what the intention behind the way it's scripted. So number 1, I know that I've mentioned this one, but it's worth saying again. Go ahead and write this down. We want them to write it down. We strategically have inserted the write down options at particular points to make sure they have pen and paper handy, because even when when we get into the quoting, you'll also see there where we'll make sure they have a pen and paper handy. At the end of this mod, we'll have them write down our phone numbers. We don't give it to them in the front of the call because we want them to grab their pen so they can write the quotes down. But even here, you want them to write it down because you want them to see something and have some. We're on the phone the whole time. So you want them to see exactly why they are hoping that they get approved with this. And at the end of it, at the end of each, I know you agree that that's a valuable benefit, right? There is a response that we want them to acknowledge. Number 1, to make sure that that they're aware and alert and they're with us, but we do want to get them used to giving us yeses. And it's a no-brainer. Why would you not want permanent whole life insurance? So yes, for that. Ms. Susan, can you give us the next bullet point, please?
If we've executed the process in the previous modules, is that right, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
In the previous modules, then we've built doubt. We've got them thinking about their loved ones. We've got them talking about their financial situation and where their income comes from. We spoke certainty and decision into them at every opportunity. we've removed any reason for them to object.
Yes, so response blocking and active listening so that you know how to and when to and what to response block is big. Also to be able to know those things ahead of time and be able to address. So I know for sure that you love this particular benefit because whatever they have said previously, or for you, I know this will be great because of whatever they've said previously. I know you have that policy with work, so this one's gonna be great because there's no outliving it. This will be with you from now until forever. And you want to use specifics so that you can drive home the benefits of the product, yes, but specific benefits, how they relate to the client will make them more likely to, oh yeah, really understand and agree and again, hope that they can get approved with Prosperity. Ms. Toy, can you give us that last one, please?
Do you have any questions for me about this coverage before we get our answer on approval? This is to ensure that we've covered every possible thing with our customer before we quote them. We may need to build some more certainty and decision here, or get in front of any possible objections. Take your time. The more they talk, the better your chances of closing them are.
Yes. So the more you can get them talking and presenting objections directly so that you can talk to them and talk them through it and address it before you provide quotes is your biggest opportunity and really the last opportunity that you have to make the sale, to quote, to write the policy. Because anything you say after you've given them numbers, you're going to be fighting against something that they've said or stated. So you're getting in front of the bullet, behind bullet, I don't know. You're getting ahead of any objections when you address it prior to mod 6. So mod 5 and before is the whole time that you're actually, anything past mod 5, you're just closing the deal, but you're actually creating the urgency. You're actually preparing the deal all before mod 5. Past mod 5, anything that you need to do, any response blocking or anything you do past mod 5, you're kind of dead in the water because you've already used up all the opportunities or moved past the opportunities to save the sale. So ask questions, don't be afraid to ask questions. If they present an objection or something that could be an objection later, do not brush over it, do not brush past it because it will come back at the end. So be actively listening, even things that they may not have directly said, but you can tell, oh, she said that a couple times. Let me make sure that I not ask about it, but tell her why this is something she won't have to worry about and praise her for doing this now and taking care of her family and, you know, being proactive and making the decision. So all of those things are it's really second level selling because you are doing it with the intention of getting ahead of all these things instead of coming after she's or he has made a statement, verbalized an objection. Yes.
My
Question?
computer says your battery's running low.
Okay, so we'll make sure. We're gonna take a break in a second. I'll look at it to make sure you're plugged in. Okay, so that being said, and this is also, so the actual features and benefits are easy. They should be easy for you to remember. If you want to highlight them, we'll play with it on break. You should be good. And you don't need your laptop now. We'll scroll through the script, but you have the written version too.
Thank you.
You're welcome, no problem. So we'll read through mod 5. And again, mod 5 is going to be the first mod that you're going to want to become the most familiar with. Not that anything else is not important, but in mod 5, you're going to be toggling through your script and pulling quotes. So you want to get as comfortable with mod 5 as possible so that you can just have a conversation with the client and be able to get the quotes pulled during this mod. I should have your coverage options back any second, but in the meantime, let me give you some information about the company I'm really hoping we get you approved with. Page 10 of the script. Now, with my 5-year really just reading, and you are again hitting on some specifics, but enthusiasm and getting them excited about it is big. Not just hear the whole script, but you definitely want to make sure you're delivering this with some enthusiasm so that they can have that anticipation for the approval. So the name of the company is Prosperity Life, and the product is called New Vista. These are bold on purpose, so make sure that you guys emphasize what it is that because this is the first time, again, that you've discussed the product. So in my professional opinion, they're the best in the business when it comes to final expense. They have been in business for over 100 years, and they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and an excellent rating with America's Best. And maintaining that rating is not an easy thing to do. I truly do believe this is the #1 final expense product on the market now, and I've seen quite a few. So I'll be honest, it is not easy to get an approval, but my fingers are crossed because if we do get approved, there are a few amazing features that come along with this plan that I believe add a lot of value. And I'll list them for you briefly while we wait for these approvals to come in. So go ahead and jot these benefits down. They are pretty important. So #1, I know I mentioned it before, but it's worth saying again, this is, write it down. This is permanent whole life insurance. So this policy will stay with you your whole life and can never be canceled on you due to age or illness. Once you act, you're covered forever. And I know you agree that's a valuable benefit, right? It sure is. #2, the second major benefit is price lock. So if approved, the cost of these policies will never be any less than it is today. If we can get you approved and take action, obviously, but the price of this coverage can also never be increased on you. Many people don't realize that a lot of the plans advertise on TV or that come in the mail or sometimes even from the banks, they have hidden features where the rates go up every few years or the rates stay the same and the policy amount decreases. And even worse, some have it to where if you are blessed to live past the age of 75, the company will drop your coverage altogether. Now, I don't know about you, Miss Ann, but I don't want to have to die before a certain age to make sure that my policy is good and my family actually gets paid. And I'm sure you're with me with those first 2 major benefits. They typically give you a yes. You don't even, just how it's presented, they'll typically say yeah. Now, #3, the third major benefit of this plan, you can write it down. It builds cash value. So this is your money and it always will be. So as you pay your premium, the policy acts like a little savings account building up over time. So should you ever find yourself in an emergency and in need of some cash, you'll be able to borrow against the cash value that's built up. Now, I don't recommend doing this, but it's just a little extra peace of mind to know that it's there if you absolutely need it. Make sense? All right. So #4, along with your policy information, Prosperity will be sending you a free Final Wishes pre-planning guide that can act like as your living will and testament. And my clients love this because it allows them to itemize exactly what their final wishes are, which eliminates a lot of potential confusion and frustration at a time when our loved ones are mourning. And again, you can go into this. I know you said that you and Ann are really close, and this will probably be the hardest thing for her. So the last thing you want her to worry about is, did mom want us to do this or that? Or remember, I know you said that you wanted to be buried under the oak tree and just have your urn there, so you can put all of that in there. You have a conversation with your clients. Make it personal. Do that and be pulling up your pulse. Whatever works for you, but you're talking benefits through to your particular client. And again, pulling out things that they've discussed to bring it home. Not to mention, Prosperity provides at no additional monthly charge an accelerated death rider. Again, this is not available in California. She didn't mention it in the video, so remember that if it's in California, we're not going to bring that up. But at no additional monthly charge, an accelerated death rider. With this, 50% of your policy is paid out to you prior to death if at any point you're medically diagnosed with a terminal medical condition. So there is also an accidental death rider, which may add a few dollars a month to your premium, but the value in it is that it doubles the face value of your policy if your death happens due to an accident. Lastly, and I personally believe this benefit is super valuable, you have me. So I am your agent for life. I take a lot of pride and I put a lot of passion. Now, typically here, they'll laugh or you laugh and, oh, you have me. And then you get serious. I do take a lot of pride and I put a lot of passion in servicing my clients. I want to make sure that if your kids have any questions, whenever that time comes and that call needs to be made, I'd much rather them call me and know that we had a personal conversation and that I was your agent for life versus reaching out to the insurance company directly and them feeling like you were just a number or whatever the case may be. So I make sure that if you have any questions, you can call me at any time. If they have questions when you talk to them, I'm sure I'll be able to answer any questions that they have. You want to talk to them, let them know. You don't want to just breeze over that part because remember, they're buying, they could get insurance from anywhere. They're buying this because now they like you. Now they know you. They trust you. You made them think about things that they didn't want to think about. So you are a large part of them. You're selling yourself throughout the entire process. So make sure that you make that hit home. Again, laugh it out. You have me. You do not want to leave it out. Number one, they love the cheese, but two, you do want to make sure that they feel that like, okay, she keeps saying this. Maybe she is my agent for life. Maybe she wasn't just saying that. And again, these policies are paid out within 48 hours and it'll probably be the first money that your loved ones receive when the time comes. Now, do you have any other questions for me before the approval decisions come over? Okay, Ms. Lloyd?
Yes, like a little piece of something, like just literally, like dust or something.
We're gonna take a break here in a second and you can go get some water. You guys can all go get watered up, watered down. So you want to make sure that you are addressing any objections here. Like I said, this is your last shot. If you move past this, you bypass this, you don't acknowledge, ask the questions, it will not be beneficial to you. You do not ever want to get into a routine of just reading it and just going through the motions and just saying stuff. You want to make sure that you are accomplishing the purpose of each mod. So time to overcome objections, yes. Do you have any other questions for me before the approval decision comes over? Uncover directly address objections, response block, any, so even if they don't say it here, so I know that you've been talking about Sandy, so hopefully we can get this approved, so when we get done, you can let her know what you were able to get in place. Those conversations are sometimes uncomfortable to have, but now you won't even have to have a conversation with her. You can just let her know what we did today. She'll be taken care of. As a mom, I know that's your biggest thing. You want to make sure you take care of your kids because you're the mom. You get old and they try to take care of you, but I love that you have made the decision to make sure that you have them taken care of so that they don't have to worry about this when you're gone. Whatever, but do not address whatever you feel or have heard them saying prior to this point. Do not be afraid to spend more time building trust, rapport if you feel that it's needed. So take a look. If they're still a little hesitant, have a conversation. The approval decisions haven't come over yet. I'm clicking around and I'm hoping we get something, and then talk to them, especially if you know it's something that they're being a little standoffish and they know the price is coming soon, hopefully, if we can even get approved. So you want to make sure that you uncover and address all of those concerns. And you ask them, so what feature do you see the biggest value in? If we can get you approved, is there anything at all that we haven't covered that would stop you from locking in your policy today? Like, are you traveling with the circus? So this is presented as a joke to lighten the mood, but you want it to almost seem like, no, if I can get approved, what could possibly stop you? If we can get this approval, what could possibly stop you? Because I'm hoping too. I'm hoping with you. I'm hoping we can even get approved. So what, if anything? Let me know, because you're not asking it in a salesy way, like, so what else do you need to know? You want to ask it in a way that you're anticipating, you're hoping, and if we get it, let's take advantage of it. So you want to make sure that you present that question in a way to where they feel like that and they don't feel like you are trying to sell them, because that could be the difference between, what did you just do? So be very, very, very mindful of that statement as a whole. Now, real quick, I do want to give you my personal contact number so that you can reach me at any time. Do you still have that pen and paper handy? Now, my number is 888-515-1266. If I'm on a call with another client, that will run straight through to our account manager, and I'll get the message and call you the first moment I become available. If you're going to provide your cell phone number, give it to them there. Now, if you can't get through on that number, I'll give you my cell number. You can call it or text it. That way you know you can't hide from me, or I can't hide from you. You give them your cell phone number. Google Voice, is everyone familiar with Google Voice?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Karen? Okay. Well, ask, I don't know what Angela does, but we'll talk, you can create a number through Google that will ring straight to your cell phone without having to give them your cell phone number. I like it because it gives you a chance to answer and get a little warning, because it makes them give their name, and it'll say you have an incoming call from whomever it might be, so you can decide whether you're up for having that conversation in the moment. Sometimes it's the weekend, you don't want to do it. Sometimes you do. But just depending, it does give you an option to give them access, make them feel like they have access to you directly. And another thing that's good with the Google Voice is if you set it up, you can open that Google tab inside your browser, and you can text from the computer instead of having to text from the phone, because it's a lot faster to just do that. So I strongly suggest, if you do not have one, that you get one, because it's easy, and again, it'll give you a little bit of separation between them having a direct number and having that little bit of a buffer between your number and not. Miss Andrea and Miss Madison, if you guys have questions about Google Voice, or let me know. But that's definitely something I would suggest doing and having if you don't already have one. All right, so questions, comments, concerns?
At a point in the beginning of it, we give them our national producer number, right?
Yes.
And they can use that to look us up?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. And that's part of that too. Now, I've already given you my national producer number. I just want to give you a little more information so that you can always reach me.
And you don't have, the national producer, once they have it, and I'll make a joke, I couldn't hide if I wanted to. You have more access to me than the IRS does. Or you have one more number for me than the IRS does. It's usually what I'll tell them. But yeah, let them know. They got you. I told you till death do us part. I mean, agent for life. You're stuck with me. You can't hide from me either. Whatever the case may be. But bring it home, drive it home. And we also, again, want to make sure they have their pen and paper at that point, because in Mod 6, we're going to have them write down the quotes. And we will go into Mod 6 after this brief intermission. So go ahead and take a 15. It's 11:25, so 11:40. 11:40, ladies.
Another company that does return a premium, at least they did a few years back.
Some return of premium is the fact that they added it's, they're pretty good about the percentage with the graded and the whole year, which is another thing. Did you get your plug situated, or is it still saying you're going dead?
It wasn't plugged in.
I don't
Is
have
it
a
now?
plug. I mean, do I have like an electrical plug right there?
That's the Ethernet.
Oh.
Here,
It's never been plugged in, that's why.
yeah, on this side here.
I had it. Yeah, no, I never plugged it in. honestly.
Do it from the back, do it from the back so that yep. Yeah, just go behind it, so,
Right
no,
here.
right there, I was saying go behind it so you didn't have it coming across your chair. And be careful when you're walking in and out, because you have a lot of cords going on here.
Thank you. A company that I started out with when I first did, final expense, that does that return of premium is Baltimore Life.
Okay.
But I don't like that company. Honestly, I wasn't impressed.
Oh, little limpy.
Wasn't-
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed because I was a new person, and when I started, the underwriting was nasty to me. You know what I mean?
No, we don't have this.
Thank
We
you.
don't have that with.
You don't have that experience. I was like, well, I'm trying to do a sale here. Why are you trying to shake me off? I think you did it. You know what I mean? But yeah. Return premium.
Is it Miss Susan?
Yes, ma'am. You look beautiful today. I love your hair up. It's so pretty.
I think I
So
just
jealous.
saw it in the thing, and I was like, whoa, what's it doing on the website? But I don't even care. I'm
It's
gonna
okay,
get
it's
it done.
Friday.
Right. And tomorrow, I think I'm gonna go get it braided.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Yes.
That'll be easy to take care of then, right?
Yes, yes.
That'll be good. Oh, goodness. I am just ready for it to be next Thursday when I take my test and everything comes back fabulous.
Yes.
So ready. Studying night and day for 2 months.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Night and day, because I'm a morning person. I'll get up at 4 in the morning.
I got up this
There
morning
you
and
go.
cleaned my room, and then I got
Yeah.
ready for work. I was like, I'm up, I feel
Yeah.
good. I meditated a little bit, and I
Right.
just, I was like, yes.
Oh, sure. I do the same thing. I can do a couple loads of laundry in the morning or, whatever.
Because I
Because,
can't do it at night because I fall
yeah.
asleep, and I have something about leaving anything in the dryer that's not all the way dry. I automatically feel like I have to, even though
Oh,
it
I know.
probably is fine. I automatically just rewatch it because I'm like, no, because I don't want
It's
to be
just
that
been
person.
there.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
You know, sometimes you don't smell something. I'm like, I would hate to be that person and
Right.
not know. So I
Right.
like a reflex.
Oh,
So
and that is what happens. I know. We've all learned that the hard way.
yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of OCD when I'm at home. I just have to do things like, have to be able to bounce a quarter off the bed, and, those things.
Oh yes, my mother might turn the
Oh.
edges.
I know, I was horrified. My mother-in-law, I was helping her, and she's like, "Oh, was Jesus, she's real quick, in this other bedroom, whatever." And she's like, "Oh, just stuff it underneath. It don't matter." I'm like, no.
Ah, yeah, my mom. I guess she
That's
got it
not
from my
how you learn.
grandmother because
Oh,
my grandmother is
Oh, she like that?
serious. Yes, she used to do housekeeping at a hotel for a little while, and that my mom was like, "Yep, that created a monster."
There you go. It happens.
Run to the restroom before they come back. Just air us out for a quick second. Is it gonna be too cold if I open that?
No, that'll be fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
A little bit of
She will go fresh air.
fresh air.
Keeps going. I was work last night. Ooh, girl.
I'm feeling it.
I'm sure. Where you work for club?
I was at the play, at a strip club, strip club side, the sports bar side, now the sports bar side.
Oh,
Probably shouldn't have drank.
well, you know.
It's hard not to. Especially there, it's, everybody knows what
Already got my tequila lined up later.
I work
Tequila
tonight,
with
too.
jalapeno, watermelon.
Oh, you like the
Oh, so good.
spicy margaritas?
Just a couple shots.
Yeah, when I get out here, I was definitely thinking now that I work tonight. But at least I don't have to get up early tomorrow.
There you
It's gonna be brutal. I have, like, I'm so behind on my bills, I have no choice to, like, I'm trying to see if the couple put me on Friday, Saturday. At
go. Oh,
least-
yeah, the weekends.
Yeah, like, at least if I'm working 6 days in a row, is better than coming, because I'm not gonna be successful if I come in here after I'm gonna work.
Oh,
on my phone. There's no
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Here,
You
it can
be all.
Listen
What, you
and
don't
follow
see yours?
along, it's okay.
No,
but
thankfully we don't have any.
Forget about it.
I
No
brought
way.
up the stairs once.
I know you can make good money. That's
Oh, yeah, I
what
could
she
do
did for a while. She worked her way through college, so now that she's a paralegal now, so of course she's got a good career. She doesn't have to do that, but even still, she'll be like, well, you know, I can go on a Friday night, make some money, come home, with the
Yeah.
other.
I mean, once I get, because we probably not gonna get paid like for 3 weeks. And then, so once I start getting like a check here, then we'll
Oh,
be-
yeah, once it's consistent, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, but for at least this month, so maybe I'll just tell them I can leave it on a
Yeah,
Friday
just
night.
do- Yeah.
And see if they can put me Saturday night, but there's just no way.
Mhm.
Now, classroom, sure, there,
Oh,
ain't
no,
no
it's
way.
not, no.
I won't accomplish anything.
Yeah.
I know that. I feel that today, for sure.
Right.
Like, that's why I was late. And I got home at like 4, and then my alarm went off. And I remember it going off, and I guess I like cut it. And then
Yeah, I
passed
mean,
out.
yeah, they're right back to sleep.
Yeah, and then I was like, whoa, you look like it's 10 right. Sorry,
What did you hurt
10
your leg or your ankle?
Huh?
What did you hurt the ankle or the foot?
My foot,
Yeah, I
over
could do
here
this kind of
and
hours.
here.
I could easily get up at 4 without the alarm, because
Oh,
I
it
was the
takes
morning
so long
person,
for
but
that
at
to
nighttime,
I just went
9 o'clock,
through it.
I don't even know
Well,
what
it's
happens
holy
every
week.
morning.
I've always been a night.
I was
person.
trying to
I
put a
sleep
fence on
until
some
about
property.
1 and
So I had
up,
those
and
round
it's just-
holes like
I'm
this.
used to it, right? But this whole
I
week
put
has
them on a
been
lot and
actually
somebody stole them.
fine, like
So I
surprisingly,
ended up
like,
doing
after
something with
the
the
first
police
night,
and
I'm
retrieved my
sleeping.
poles, but you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
I've already
this is
began
just-
adjusting.
To that road.
I was putting them around the baseboards, right?
Right.
I'm going down the hall where I
So we
kind of
just
stuck some
room in
down the
here.
hall. just
Yes,
to
how
tighten it
exactly,
up, you know?
so much better.
Yeah.
I stubbed my foot, my toe on one of those. It's taken such a long time.
I didn't
for
get
it
that.
to
Mhm.
It was so painful.
That
I
hurts.
don't know how to explain myself. You'd have to know me to know, like, you know, like, to know my levels, have different levels.
I made some candy cane shots for Christmas that were Jack Fire
Oh.
and cherry jello. And unflavored gelatin, that sweet condensed milk for the white fire. Oh my God, it was so good.
Wait, you said cherry jello with the
Jack
Jack
Fire.
Fire and
I don't know if they got pictures or not, but they were so good.
you layered them?
I just think, I did.
Nice.
And I think, I may do that for Valentine's Day, because I think that would cool.
Look at you, you're more of a mixologist than I am. I just like.
I
sling
really had a lot of
drinks.
fun with it, the stuff.
So you like going to like cocktail places, huh? Watching them
I
make.
do it all at home. I find the recipes on Netflix and I just do it myself.
Do you know that, what's that one? Oh,
They're pretty.
you did a really good job the way you layered them. Like, you got them layered like.
Oh, yeah, like a
a
candy
literal
cane.
candy
Yeah.
cane, yeah.
Because I put what did I use, like a pencil or, oh, I had a cupcake thing carrier that had the edge like that for each one, so I tipped each cup on the edge. I did the red and then white and red and
It
white.
came out nice. Yeah, I used
I
to
know,
use like
it
the
was
little
so-
long spoon. The layering can be tricky and annoying. So
It
you did a
is.
really good
It
job.
was tricky. I don't think I have any
You have to make sure you put the right, because you don't want one to sink. You got a whole cart. See how it all is now.
I have a lot of great stuff to work
She is
with.
more serious than me. I'm telling you what, I like. The one thing I did hate about like working when you work in restaurants is because you gotta learn all these specialty drinks. And I was gonna take 5 minutes to make you this cocktail,
Yeah.
and I really don't even want to make it.
Mm,
And if it's slow, it's okay. 'cause
A couple
you're
of my
enjoying
favorite
it.
things I've truly perfected, like a lemon drop. I love lemon.
Oh yeah,
And I
can
have
do
some
that for you.
beautiful martini glasses that I put lemon and sugar on the rim, and
I love it.
I make fancy little lemon roses with the lemon peel to put on a
Lemon
skewer.
roses. Now you're doing a
Oh,
lot.
it's
sis.
just so fun. It's so fun. Yeah, you
Do you have
take
a
your.
picture of the lemon
Take
rose?
the,
I want to
I'll have
see.
to. I'll take some pictures for you this weekend.
I'm
If you
curious
use
about
a vegetable peeler
Mhm.
and just barely get the rind off, and then you just roll it up. I like that with the dirty martini too, with the blue cheese stuffed olive. But I like lemon on it too. I put lemon on the rim, and then I put the lemon rose on the pick, and then the olives, and put it in the dirty martini.
So I know it looks really pretty then.
Uh-huh.
Even the lemon, how about this lemon rose with
A lemon
lemon
rose.
peel?
Yeah.
Because it's coming up like lemon rosemary.
Oh, I don't know if sometimes I think I don't know
Oh,
where I
I
even
see.
found that.
It's pretty.
Oh, see, isn't that great?
Good luck. It's
Isn't that awesome? I think they're just so cool.
That is.
I just got Moscato, strawberry Moscato, because I'm going to put strawberries.
Well, I
and
just
berries
walked
in
into
our-
Strawberry Moscato.
Oh, yeah. I think, won't that be pretty? Then
That
you
would be really
dip
good.
it in sugar and it'll be awesome.
Is that straight sugar or is there something else on there with
I
that?
think it's just straight sugar, but you poke holes a little bit, take a fork, and put the strawberry and let it soak in Moscato.
I love
I was
Moscato.
just writing about my,
When I worked at the Avenue, we had
Candy
rose.
cane jello shots for Christmas. The red part is Jack
The first
Fire,
time I had Moscato
which
was
is
at
my
my
favorite,
daughter's
and the
house.
white is,
It was some holiday.
unflavored gelatin with sweet
And she
condensed.
says, Mom, would you
And
like a
vanilla.
glass of wine?
And here we're sitting.
And I was like, oh, okay.
And
She
I
gave me
bet
a
they
glass of
hit you with a.
Moscato. I fell in love.
Yes.
Right
Right between the eyes.
Actually, I'm weird. Like the only wine I even like is plum wine.
I like
Really?
that.
I've tried all other wines.
Hey
I like
ladies,
rose.
sorry I took an extra 3 minutes, I put out a minor fire and then I ate
Like
like.
if I had any like regular wine, it would be the Savage
I can't drink it alone because it scares me to open the bottle, so I have to have somebody come and open the bottle, and then I have to drink it.
So you want to feel like an
So
alcoholic
crazy.
is what you're saying.
When I'll tell you,
I can't do it
when I
either.
was little, we always had these Papa's and biscuits for Sunday for
We
dinner.
are
And my
two
grandmother
people
did it,
short,
she
so I'm
would
gonna give them a
leave them
second
out for
to
hours. She'd
appear.
be like, "Who are those biscuits?" I know she was trying to be mean, but you know, the minute it just explode because it's warm now, it's not cold anymore.
So you're traumatized.
Scar me for life.
That's true though. Like sometimes I hate like the champagne bottles or the wine bottles because like I'll put like a bar towel on the
Yeah.
edge. So,
So, yeah.
I've never even been hit or anything with it, but it just even the noise startles you.
Yeah, it
Even though you know
does.
it's gonna
It's
make the
so
noise,
loud.
you're still like, oh,
Even though you're ready for it, I
yeah,
still
you still
stay
stay
up.
up.
Oh,
My eyes just not having it today.
That's how I feel. My eyesight is really, really good. But
I
For
use
some
like eye
reason-
drops of my lashes because it makes it it's not good for the lashes.
when I don't sleep, my eyesight is not that good. But when I sleep, I don't have any problem. I don't even wear glasses.
Well, what did I tell you? You gotta be sleeping.
Yeah, but you gotta get used to the schedule. Then this is a new one for me. And that's why
Oh yeah, because you've been off for a while.
that's right. And like getting that $1,000, I'm gonna feel rich. You know what I mean?
I didn't get no stimulus. That's the crappy part. Well, they said like payments are not available, so and they have until the 15th, so I have to file it on my taxes, which is fine because I have a new bank account anyway. But even like I don't know what they're paying. Like even my friend, her thing said payment status like not available for hers as well, and she has her same bank account, and we're both eligible. So I don't know. It's like weird.
I like his shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, to check the board.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know how BC powder tastes with, how
I
they
give-
do
I give
it.
it.
All right, let's
They'll
bring it
say
in,
it's
let's
bad.
bring it in, let's bring it in.
Poke on my back and my head won't stop hurting.
I need a brush.
Okay, so, Mod 5, New Vista, Mod 5 is very important. Prosperity itself, you're gonna wanna get familiar with that. We'll touch on it more, but there's all kinds of information. You guys have a fact sheet. Get familiar with the product that you are going to be offering. Don't just, again, spend time in here, but be familiar with this. You want to be well versed with the product that you are offering. You want to tell someone about it and how wonderful it is. You want to know about it yourself. In addition to, again, this being the mod that you're going to want to try to memorize sooner than not, because you're going to also be responsible for pulling quotes while in Mod 5. So we'll spend a little more time with prosperity. The underwriting portion of it, again, I didn't want you guys to hear it, just to be aware of it, but you'll get more comfortable as we actually go in and start clicking through it. We'll listen to a training call for underwriting once we get into Mod 8. After Mod 8, because you still have the warm down or the underwriting prep before you actually call over to underwriting. So once we touch on those things, then we'll listen to an underwriting call in its entirety. You won't have much to do there anyways, but it is nice to know what's going to be done. Now, another thing with prosperity, do not forget to check the height and weight chart. You guys have them in several different places. That's one of the things that's in the back of the booklet. The height and weight chart should be laminated, so put that up around your cube so that you have it. Ms. Madison, that's one of the things that's sent in your binder that has been laminated for you, because you're gonna wanna make sure the last thing you're gonna wanna do is not ask that. If you ever don't ask that, it will be the only time you ever don't ask that, especially when not asking that could cost you a whole policy and 2 hours if you could have found out within 3 minutes that they were off the weight chart versus not. Because some people may be off the weight chart but be completely healthy otherwise. So make sure that you do check that height and weight chart every time. Again, if they're within a pound or two, then ask them the questions, because it may simply be, well, actually, yeah, it's been a couple days and I think the last time I checked it was in the morning and I was $199 and not $200. Other than that, any questions about prosperity specifically, ladies in Wonderland? Anybody have any questions for me specifically about product?
Right now, that's the first.
I apologize, I am so apologetic. Okay, so we'll move into Module 6 if there are no questions about Mod 5. Okay, so Mod 6 is what we are going to present the approval. Do not be afraid to get excited with them. You've gone through a whole bunch of stuff. So Mod 6 is the payoff for everything that you have done. Mod 6 is where you get to really, get paid back for everything that you've done. When they give you an easy response to those 3 options that you give them, feels really good to know that you executed the process perfectly. Do not get out of habit of following the process, because when you guys first go out,
I was gonna wait until you finish, that's why I kind of had it partially up. But it was just about the quote, because I was making sure my note was accurate from the other day. You want to present 2 higher and make the one that
We're
they
gonna-
requested the lowest one, that way.
we're gonna go into that one right now.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you're getting paid back from everything that you've done. You don't want to get out of the habit of following the script, because when you first roll onto the floor, you're gonna have beginner's luck, because all you're gonna be doing is remembering what we did and going through it, and keep a fresh mind when it comes to this and how you present it. Everything that you're learning here, remember it. And if you need a refresher, just today I had the team re-listen to the mods that we went through yesterday, 1 through 6. We didn't do 5 and 6, but it's good to be aware of and remember the process, because it does not happen by accident. It's built into. So it should be expected, and you should, if you've executed the process from mods 1 through mods 5, mod 6 should be the easiest, and again, the payoff for everything that you have done. So, all modules build on the previous module. Executing the process in every module directly impacts your success in the next module. Very true. Mod 6 is the greatest example of this. If you have done your fact find, if we have spoken certainty and decision, you will see that and hear that all the time, because that is big. Certainty and decision. We are big on certainty and decision. Why? Anybody?
Because it's planting that seed. Because they get in the habit of saying yes, yes, and it makes them feel good because you're, kind of congratulating them on it as well. It's like you love your family enough that it's so amazing. Like, I love my family too. And it's like, I am proud of you for doing this right now with me today. And it's like, okay, like, you love my decision. Thank you.
You're working ahead of time to let them know about making a decision today on the call. So you want to make sure that you are doing that as frequently as possible and as often as possible. Frequently and often is the same, but as genuinely as possible and as often as possible, so that it naturally comes to them when it's time to pick. They're like, well, let me pick. So you want to be doing that throughout the call, so when it's time to pick, they make the decision. And mod 6 is where they are going to make the decision. So certainty and decision into the client. If we praise them, build doubt, and know their needs, then this module will be your payoff. If not, then you will just send me something out in writing so that I can look over it. I'm not ready to make a decision today, or I need to think about it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Very true. If they don't trust you, that's probably why they're not making a decision. If you haven't built doubt and made them anxious for the approval and they feel like they can get it elsewhere from anybody, then you're probably not going to get them to make a decision. If you have not response blocked appropriately, you haven't touched on the things that they've been saying without saying them, then they're not going to make a decision. So you doing all those things and getting all those yeses ahead of time and getting them to agree and making them feel certain about their decision to make a decision with you today, then it's not going to be a simple pick of an amount when you give them the 3 amounts. So we want our client to feel special about the approval that we've obtained for them. So remember, we are also saying we, us. Hopefully we can get this, and we. Not Prosperity did this. They sent you this, and this is for you. And no, this is us. We got this. We're gonna. So you want them to feel like you guys are a team. You want this, Miss Crystal?
You know.
Okay. Look at you. All right. Congrats. Okay, so I think I told you guys that my first congratulations was very ugly.
It was. Say something else, but let's hear it.
I don't know. Jason tried to. I think one of the last training classes, he was going to look for it, and then he couldn't find it. I was like, good. But it was because you wanted to be, okay, so you want to differentiate that congratulations from everything else in the call. If you've been very high energy during the call and brought them up, maybe you want to go low with the, congratulations. You want them to feel the difference between what's been going on and now what we have. So if you've been a little bit smooth and okay, congratulations, build it up a little bit so that you want them to feel excited about it. You don't want okay, congratulations. So let's see what it is. Why even say congratulations? So again, this is the performance. This is the climax of the performance. So you want to take them there. You want them to go with you. Again, if you've been up there, congratulate. It hits different when they hear you change your tone. Then they want to wait, what? Okay, I got it. So now what? So you want to make sure that you deliver it So I heard that or something along those lines. I gave you guys my version of that, but I heard a lot of that, and I was like, okay. And then again, the person that was on the floor doing well and doing it, she was like over the top. So I was going over the top too. Oh, so this is what I need to do, and it was like. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel right in my spirit. So I went up and then I tried to come down because I was like, oh, that's not me. I don't like it. And it was all over the place. But regardless, you do want to have that. You want to make sure that you're using inflection and tone. I don't even want to try to imitate the sound because Jason would do it. I should call him in here so he can give it to you guys. So you want them to be excited and feel like this isn't something that everyone gets that happens all the time. This is something for you. That in itself makes them want to act on it. So we're going to do 3 coverage amounts in this section, a high, a middle, and a low. And from the voice, okay, so when you deliver the amount of coverage, you want to go up with the amount. So this is $10,000 worth of coverage for $58.27 a month. So go up with the amount so they can get excited about that and go low. You don't want to hide the number. You want them to hear it, but you don't want to. For $75.27 a month, you want to take it. Church's chicken. So, it's racist. No.
The lady on Popeyes.
And I forgot. Andrew would have gotten that. He always so that was an Andrew. I'm sorry. I've been around him too long. Okay, so no, but you want to go up and then you want to bring it down because you want them to feel, ooh. And even the low amount, you don't want to give because it's going to be a high, a middle, and a low. So you don't want to say $25,000 worth of coverage, $20,000 worth of coverage at $15,000. You want them to feel excited about even that 15 if that's what they have to go with. Even if it's $2,000 worth of coverage or $2,000, because that might be all they can afford. You want them to feel good about that $2,000 because even if we have to go with $2,000, especially if that $2,000 worth of coverage is $102 a month. You want them to feel good about the 2 because, well, we'll go with 2. You don't want them to feel like they got the sucker prize because that's all they could afford. So that voice inflection when you're delivering it is going to make them listen, but also make them excited about choosing one of whichever option you presented. So tell me, which amount would you want for Karen? And in that part of the script, you're going to give the beneficiary name. What amount would you want for Miss Hannah to receive when the time comes? A check for the $20,000, a check for the $20,000, $15,000, or $10,000. Whichever it is, you want them to sound, we'll go with the $10,000. Oh, excellent answer, because I know for sure, regardless of if they go high, middle, and low, I know for certain that's going to have a positive impact on Miss Hannah when the time comes and she needs it the most. Go ahead and circle that one. And we move into getting their middle initial. So what is your middle initial? And you guys will see how the middle initial is really you just getting them to agree, and they're so used to going with what you're saying. They don't even know that, okay, the next on to the application, you're going on to the application. You're not going to say, okay, on to the application. You want it to be a smooth transition. Excellent option. Most people go with that. Most people go with the middle option anyways. Perfect, because I know that'll have a positive impact on boom, boom, boom when the time comes. And I just need to confirm your information and lock this approval in place. What's your middle initial? You're not starting the app. I need to confirm your information, lock this approval in place. What is your middle initial? You move on. So you're confirming information because you have an agency block. And I wanted to touch on systems today, but we'll do that Monday, probably midday Monday. But agency block will pop up. It'll have all the client's information. You're verifying it. I see that this, and we'll talk about that in Mod 7. I'll go back so we can break down Mod 6, but right into the application once they select their amount. Great, wonderful choice. Most people pick that. Oh, awesome. I know that she'll love it this way. She won't have to worry about blah, 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 and she'll be taken care of. I just need to confirm your information and lock your approval in place on into Mod 7, the application. The most important thing is that we take advantage of the approval today. We've obtained, If they don't select their answer, and we'll talk about this when we read through it, but if they don't choose 1, 2, or 3, and they're quiet, they're a little hesitant, and you feel them being unsure, you know what? Go ahead and circle the bottom amount. It's the lowest amount, and it's the easiest, it's the most affordable. The biggest thing is to take advantage of the approval. So we'll select that. I know this is a big decision for you, and there's verbiage in there verbatim, but and you want to get comfortable with saying it, but the most important thing is taking advantage of the approval. You ladies good? Do you have any questions while we're going through this? Just throw them in there and I'll be sure to answer. But most important thing is taking advantage of the approval while we have it, creating a sense of urgency, especially with everything going on today. We want to make sure it's not easy to get these approvals. We got them. And if they do not select an option, well, bear with me just a second. Let me put you on hold and check something out for you. Put them on hold and you come back with that low amount, not the low amount, but the low amount. So when you give them 3 quotes, high, a middle, and a low, the high one, you want it to be something that makes them a little bit like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And you say, I said this is a high, middle, and low, so we'll start with the high, and you go up, maybe 100, a little over 100, but something that is high. The middle, you want it to be a middle high. And then the low, you want it to be a high low so that you're not at the bottom of the barrel and there's no way that they're going to pick it. If they do pick this one, or if they don't pick this one, then there's really no other option besides maybe a $1,500 policy for $12 a month or even $20 a month. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough room so that if you have to go down, because some people just go low, like, well, let me just get this, and they're going to go low. Whether the low one was $52 or $38, they're going to go low. So give yourself some room so that if they can't afford the low, then you have a little backup that's still going to give them a little something and give you a little something. So
What are the averages here? Because on that call, the guy, he did like 15, 10, and 8. And I was like, if they only asked for 10, why would you ever offer 8? Like, that's what I was saying.
And we don't even want to stress what they say. We want to keep it in mind, but we're the professionals, so we want to make an informed decision on what we quote them. If they keep saying 10,000, but $10,000 worth of coverage is only $25 a month, and they have more, and they have more. They haven't talked about it being costly. They're like, I just need 10. I just want cremation. But again, if $10,000 is $20 a month, go with $15,000 or go with something that's still around $50 should be your low. That would be my lowest, something around 50, maybe 55, maybe 58, maybe 48, it just, again, you're taking into account the conversation. You with us, Ms. Hannah? You're taking into account the conversation you've had with your client, and you're making sure that it makes sense. So again, throw it out the window because they're saying 10, but this way, especially if it doesn't cost much, this way you'll be able to get your cremation done and have a little something extra behind it. It's only this amount. And then if they're like, well, I really just wanted 10, or you could say that way, even with the cost of living going up, you'll have more than enough so that blah, 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 especially again, if the amount is low. So now if they keep talking about 10 and 10, 10, 10, and 10 is too high for them because they're modified or they're old, then you do not want to just go off of what they said. This is part of the response blocking thought process as well, because this way you can speak to whatever. If it's too much, even if we can't get 10,000, hopefully we can even get you approved with something. You want to make sure that you are being the professional and guiding them, because most of the time they're going to go with what you say, especially if you've successfully done all the things that you needed to do before that point to make it to where they're just like, yep, you're right, let's go ahead with whichever option it is. So it's very important that you are not setting yourself up when selecting your option. You don't want to pick too many that are too high, because if you give them all ones that are just completely out of the ballpark of what they can afford, then they may not even give you a chance to say go with the low option. They may just hang up because it's like, oh wait, all the time you have to be paying attention to your clients so that you'll have an idea of what might work for them. So again, the high you want it to be high, the middle you want to do like a middle high, and then the low you want it to be a high low. So thought process wise, and don't take this to heart as being law, because it depends on who you're speaking with. But in general, You want your high to be around 100, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but around the $100 range. You want your middle to be maybe around the $70 range, and your low to be around the $50 range. So again, take that with a grain of salt, because again, you may have someone that is a truck driver. We love truck drivers. They have money, they need coverage, and they're usually pretty healthy. You have to be healthy to drive trucks. So typically you can go up there, you can quote them maybe $200 something, one for $150 and then one for $100. Again, depending on who you're speaking to. If you have someone that's been talking about, oh yeah, I have all this and I really want to get something. Well, you know, the highest option we have is 35,000. So this is for this much, and then 30,000, and then 25,000. You want to, again, make sure that your quotes are geared towards the conversation that you've had, and in regards to cost, as far as where their money comes from and the income that they have coming in. What they say they want as far as burial versus cremation, and if it is cremation, but you know that they can afford way more, and they said they want to leave a little something behind, because we are asking them that too. You want to make sure that whatever you're pulling them, you're talking about it beforehand and selling around it before you present those numbers, because once you put those numbers out there, that's it. Yes, ma'am.
Now, I don't think it's something you would do on all calls, however, just to try and see where the finances are. Once you say, oh my goodness, congratulations, we've got you an approval, let me go ahead and, start looking at some numbers or whatever case. Would it be?
We're not looking at numbers at that point. You're telling them, and I'll let you follow up, but before we go past that, you're not looking up numbers. We got the approval, let's see what Prosperity sent us. So
Okay,
you're taking
well,
yourself
well,
out of it. So, okay, so yeah.
Well, along those lines of verbiage, but wouldn't it be good to even ask them what's comfortable for you? What can you afford on a monthly basis? Because if we just give out $25,000 at $107 a month, and 20 at $97, and then 15 at $72. But in their mind, they already were thinking, oh, well, I can afford $150 a month, and that might put them at 35, which gives us and the company more of an income.
So that's the active listening, and that's why in my 2, you want to try to get those answers without directly asking it. Because they'll say, if they want more, they'll say, well, is that it? Or I was hoping that we would get more. So if you are just kind of feeling like you don't have a good grasp of where they are, ask more questions from my 2. But if you're getting into the pulling quotes part of it, you can say, well, they have up to $35,000 worth of coverage, but let me see what they sent us over. They sent us this, that. So you do qualify for up to $35,000, but they sent us over the first one so that way you're planting that seed that there is more available, but you're not going to give them that because they may not be able to afford it. But if they can, they'll let you know, or they may go high. They pick the top one and say, okay, wonderful, that's an excellent option. Most people go with the high amount. There's actually even 35,000, but I think that, or whatever, you could sprinkle it without, you don't want to take away from selecting an option. If they select it, excellent choice. Most people go about, you actually qualify for 35,000, but they set that first quote over for that amount, so that it piques a little bit of interest. And then if they do say, well, how much is it? You go into it. Or you can say, well, I don't know. I can always check, or we can always go up or down. And that's another thing too that you can slide in there. So they send us over 3 options. We can always go up or down, but the biggest thing is that we have the approval. So that's an easy one to slide in there too. We can always go up, we can always go down, but the biggest thing is that we got the approval. So let's see what they sent us over, and then you roll into giving them the quotes. But again, that's usually, most of the time, you should have an idea from having a conversation with your client roughly where to go. So, but it's all quote logic, and that's part of, we have an exercise that we'll play with after we get through with mod 6. After mod 6, we'll play with some quote logic and do an exercise after you guys do lunch. So we will read through mod 6. Have we gone through all of these? And it's going to take advantage of the approval. We worked our climate with call. At this point, we're putting
We turn the arrow on.
yes. Sorry, I meant to point to Miss Crystal. It just
Dang.
kicked off.
Yeah,
When it kicks off, it kicks off. Somebody take that last bullet point and then the last three will go round robin. Whoever wants to take that last.
We worked hard for our clients throughout the call to get to this point, and we're putting valuable protection in place for them today. In order to do that, we have to pull their data, speak with certainty throughout the data pool, and if there are questions, they can be answered simply and in a straightforward manner. Examples below. If my page will turn, maybe.
I tell you what, Crystal, why don't you go ahead and circle that lowest amount you listed? The main purpose of today is to get protection in place so that you are covered. We can always add more coverage later, and I'll be here to help you with that. Making sure we take advantage of this approval and getting it locked into place for Karen is the main objective today.
Remember,
Go ahead, Miss Karen.
Karen's like, thank you for putting me on the.
remember, Miss Crystal, no money is charged today. We follow the same schedule as Social Security and disability. Your premium won't come out until the day you receive your benefits.
All right, and the last one, Miss Susan.
We'll call over to overriding was underwriting, to make sure everything comes back as applied for. If so, all the information will come out to you in writing so that you can review it at your leisure. But in the meantime, you are locking in the approval today, so you're covered. If for some reason we decide not to keep the policy in place, once it arrives at your house, we'll have time to change it, cancel it, or even add coverage to it.
All right, so these are some, you don't want to jump into these unless you get into providing the follow-up answer. Let's say we come back with a hardship option and they're still not picking something. Then you can come into these. But for the most part, you shouldn't have to. I tell you what, go ahead and circle the lowest amount that you listed. Remember, we're having them write it down and we're going to have them circle it, and we'll go into that when we read through mod 6. But the main purpose of today is to get protection in place so that you're covered. We can always add more coverage later. I'm here to help you with that. Make sure that we take advantage of the approval and getting that locked into place. So that's pretty straightforward. Read through these so that you have a little bit of something to say if that ever comes, but you're not going to have time to come. Just be familiar with this because it is good stuff to know, to be able to use if need be. But remember, no money is charged today. We follow the same schedule as Social Security and disability. Your premium won't come out until the day you receive your benefits. That is clutch. We're not giving them a when do you want to have your premium paid? If you know that they receive benefits, you're telling anytime they talk about money, we follow the same schedule as Social Security and disability. That way the premium won't come out until the day your benefits hit. Anytime they're bringing it up, nothing is charged today. Remember, we follow the same schedule of Social Security and disability. So there's no need to say anything else. We follow that same schedule. So when it comes to mod 7 and we're doing the data pool, you're gonna so what day is it that you want to do this? No, when do you receive your benefits? On the 1st, the 3rd, or is it one of the Wednesdays? And she said in the video, and it is in the application, if it's one of the Wednesdays, you have that option. Not many, I haven't come across any other company that gives you the option to follow the Social Security benefits. So that's really, really good that Prosperity is able to do so. Another one, we'll call over to underwriting to make sure everything comes back as applied for. True statement. I mean, send something in the mail and no, we're going to call over to underwriting, make sure everything comes back as applied for. If so, the information will come out to you in writing so that you can review it at your leisure. But in the meantime, you're locking the approval in today so that you are covered. If for some reason you decide that you do not want to keep the policy in place, once it arrives at your house, we'll have time to change, cancel, or even add coverage to it. So you want to leave off with the adding coverage part, because that's what you want to think about. Go low, I can add coverage later. Go low. we'll go low. You can always add coverage. The likelihood of them canceling is slim to none once they've gone through all this. They talk to underwriting, they feel good, they have their welcome packet come out to them in the mail. They're hyped. They're not canceled for what? I got covered. Now I don't have to think about it. It'll come out when my benefits hit. So it's more just, let's get through it. This is the next step. That casual confidence is big. You don't want to get all flustered and over talk. You say the statement, you come right back with, so let's go ahead and circle that bottom amount, or let's go ahead and we move right through. You're not waiting for them to give you an okay to move forward. You're not talking too much. You say this and then you say that too, and then you say, remember, you're doing too much. Just keep it simple, because you can talk yourself out of the sale as well, because you sound nervous. They don't trust you. Now you're giving them too many things to think about. Just make your statement and then come back with that casual confidence. Like, the only thing that makes sense is to do what I'm saying, because you got this, we were approved, this with this great company, it's affordable, let's go low. What else do I do except, okay, well, let's go ahead and I'll circle that bottom one. Okay, great. And it's a wonderful decision. I know for certain that it'll have a positive impact on Marie when the time comes and she needs it the most. So you circled that, and what is your middle initial? And we move right into the application. So don't stress it, don't overthink it. If you've done everything that you needed to do up until that, you've been actively listening, you've responsible, that is, again, this is the payoff for doing everything right before this point. So I'm going to read through month 6, and my fingers are crossed for us. I usually get the answers back on the approvals by now, so it should come any moment. Now, keep that pen and paper close, all right? If we get approved, page 13 in the script itself.
Where you at?
I felt it.
I'm like, where's she at?
Okay, I'm looking all around.
I keep my
like,
scripts near me. I don't know where you guys keep your script, but
what?
I'm always ready with my script. You got it? Page 13?
My fingers are crossed.
Yeah.
All right.
Hers, I was like,
So my fingers are crossed. I usually have the answers back on the approvals by now, so it should come at any moment. Now you keep that pen and paper close, all right? Because if we get approved, they typically give me 3 different coverage amounts with the approval, and I want you to write them down so we can review them together and see which one best serves you. No one comes out weekly or monthly knocking on your door to collect premiums like they did in the old days. And there are also no credit checks like there used to be for the immediate issue programs like this. Now you have 2 options here. If they receive benefits, you should know that by now, and you go with option A. If they receive benefits, you read that out. If they do not receive benefits and they're still working, or they just do not receive Social Security or disability, then you go with option B. So option A, you flow right into it. The immediate issue programs like this, we follow the same schedule as Social Security and disability. That way the premium won't come out until the day that your benefits are in the account, to make sure you never have to worry about missing it and losing your coverage, your policy lapsing, none of that. Your benefits hit, your premium is paid, and your policy is good. Boom. Now, right after that, you roll right into, okay, almost like it popped up in the middle of you making the statement. Your benefits hit, your premiums paid, your policy's good. Oh, guess what? Congratulations. Oh, we are excited. They send it over, and you roll right into the approval and give the amounts. Now, if they do not receive benefits, we go with option number 2. And again, this is flowing. So you want to make sure that you are seamless with this delivery, because this is really where your payoff. So there are no credit checks like there used to be for the immediate issue programs like this. You select any day between now and 2 weeks from now, and your premiums will be paid each month on the date you specify. And you suggest either, now you're not reading this, you would suggest typically, especially if they're working, the 1st or the 15th, because those are easy dates to remember. Most people set their bills up, if they have the option to set up their bills, they set it up for the 1st or the 15th. If it is let's say it's the 20, depending on what day it is, if it's the 15th of the month, you can let them know, okay, you can set it up between, I usually say we can set it up for the 1st of the month. That way you know that it's there on the 1st of each month. And so give them professional suggestions. Again, they trust you at this point, so they are going to pretty much go with what you say. If they don't want it, or they're like, no, actually the 7th will be better because usually I have a lot of bills coming out, so a week later I'll be ready to go. Make suggestions. You do not want to ask, so what do you think, or which day? Let them know. And if they disagree, then they will let you know. Or if it is the 2nd of the month, most of my working class, they'll pick the 15th of the month. It's right in the middle, and you move right into that. And if they disagree, again, they will let you know. So you specify the date. Now, remember, with Prosperity, it's any date between the 1st and the 28th, because February only has 28 days, and it will be on the same date each month. So any date between the 1st and the 28th, they can select, and it'll be the same date each month. Now, if they choose to make a premium payment on the same day that you are speaking with them, then you will want to let them know that it may take 2 days. Usually the initial premium takes about 2 days because they have to get the information, they have to process it, they have to submit the request for the payment. So that first payment, if they want it on the date of the application, it'll probably take a day or two, maybe even 3 days for the initial premium payment to come out, but then it will be on the same date, whatever the application. Today is the 15th, so it would be the 15th of each month going forward, but for January, it'll probably be like the 18th. It's not often that people will want it same day, but it happens. And you can give them the suggestion. You can give them the suggestion and say, you can make a premium payment today if you like. That way you know that you're covered from today. But you also can pick any time between now and 2 weeks from now. Technically, they have 30 days. So you don't want to give them 30 days because the longer it takes them to make a premium payment, the less likely it is to go through. People that receive benefits, that's easy. We get it set up for the date the benefits hit. That way I don't have to think about it. Easy peasy. And I honestly believe, because she said 30 today, but for everything else that I've been thinking, there are actually 35 days that they will give you. If it's the 1st of the month and the 1st of next month, your premium payment will be made. So you'll have that wiggle room. But you don't want to push it so far out that if the payment doesn't go through for whatever reason, and then they have to redraft it, now you're outside of the 35 day time frame, and now you have to rewrite the whole policy. The sooner the premium payment comes out, the better. They check stuff. The percentage of policies that stay in place keeps decreasing the further out it is from the time you talk to them to the initial premium payment being made. So the sooner you get them to set up that initial premium payment, the more likely it is for the policy to actually go through and stick, because that's less time for them to say they haven't even taken anything out, or it makes more sense, and it does increase the likelihood of the policy actually going into place. You don't get paid until your policy becomes active. Don't stay paid unless the policy stay in effect. So everything that you are doing is not just to get us out of there, just get it up on the board and send the email. No, you want to make sure that you're writing clean business. So, congratulations. Okay, yes, congratulations. The approval just hit my screen. It looks like we're qualified for the top tier program, the modified program. Whether they're level, rated, or modified, it's a top tier program because it's with Prosperity, and Prosperity is an excellent company. So you don't want to say, you got the third one, you got one of the, no, it's a top tier program. It's the modified program. Prosperity's modified program is very good in comparison to other policies or other carriers. So, top tier program, the modified program, it is always a relief to see this approval screen. Okay, so Miss Mary, as a new customer, first and foremost, I want to make sure that we find something that is affordable and comfortable right now, because you may not qualify for these plans or rates again if you were to get sick or get hurt. And Miss Mary, these premiums will never be any cheaper than they are right now, especially with all the additional benefits included. So remember, this is permanent whole life. It is price locked, and it builds cash value. So make sure you write these 3 options down, and we'll figure out what works best from there. I'm just so glad we're even able to get approved with Prosperity. Okay, so they give us a high, a middle, and a low. So I'll start with the high and go from there. Now, the first approval amount we have is for $35,000 worth of coverage. which doubles to 70,000 in the event of an accidental death, which is only 102.41 a month. 102.41. And the second amount that we were approved for is $30,000 worth of coverage, and $30,000 worth of coverage doubles to $60,000 in the event of an accidental death, which is only $82.03 a month. $82.03 a month. And the third amount that we were approved for is, what did they send us? $20,000 worth of coverage, and $20,000 worth of coverage also doubles in the event of an accident to $40,000 worth of coverage, and that would only run $61.07 a month. 6107. So tell me, Miss Susan, which amount would you want Brenda to receive when the time comes? A check for the $35,000, a check for the $30,000, or a check for the $20,000?
35,000. I want them to have the best.
Oh, look at you.
Right.
That is an excellent choice. I'm with you on that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I know you said you want the best for her, and I know for certain that your decision is really going to have a positive impact on Karen when the time comes and she needs it most. So go ahead and circle that one. I just need to confirm your information to lock this approval in place. Whew, I'm so happy we got approved with Prosperity. Oh, goodness, I was nervous for a second. And what is your middle initial? Move right into my segment. So, tell me, Miss Karen, so if there's a delay, so number A, if the amount, number A is if she selects an amount, she just goes with it. You want to choose, she chooses her option without any hesitation. We jump right into, that's an excellent choice. Now, B, if there's a delay in selecting an amount, then we proceed with the verbiage, the blue verbiage. So I will ask you, Miss Karen, and then we'll go blue. So just hesitate a little bit for me. So tell me, Miss Karen, which amount would you want Brenda to receive when the time comes? A check for the $35,000, a check for the $30,000, or a check for the $20,000? You know what? Don't even. I will tell you. I will tell you what. Let's go ahead with option 3. We'll go ahead with option 3. Go ahead and circle that option. It's the lowest price option. And this is a big decision. But our main goal today is to lock some coverage in place and take advantage of this approval while we have it. We can always add more coverage later if you choose to. So go ahead and circle that bottom one. I just need to confirm your information to lock this approval in place. I'm really just so glad we even got the approval with Prosperity. Now, what is your middle initial, Miss Karen?
It's A.
All right. So now if Miss Karen and Miss Susan do not select any of the option, then the last resort, if they say all of the options are too costly, then we'll proceed with the red verbiage, and Miss Crystal with the C. So tell me, which amount would you want for Hannah to receive when the time comes? A check for $30,000, a check for $25,000, or a check for the $20,000?
Well, ma'am, I'm not really sure I can afford any of this.
Ma'am, we are better than ma'am. You can't afford. Sorry, go ahead. But you will have conversation with them, like really just talk to them. At this point, you're talking to them. So go ahead.
What do you
So you're saying, it's too expensive, you said? Was that
Yeah,
what
I
you
think I'm gonna need something a little more in the range of $30 a month.
Okay, so that it's not always available, but let me see if there's a hardship option available. Let me talk to my supervisor. Hold. Now, sometimes they will give you an amount and say, well, I was hoping for 30,000. Sometimes they don't. They're just like, I don't know, these are too much, and you put them on hold. So for you, what I can do to make sure we can take advantage of this approval, it looks like there is $15,000 worth of coverage, which still doubles to $30,000 in the event of an accidental death, and that one's actually only $32.27 a month. go ahead and write that down and circle that.
Thank you, Mo.
Okay. I just need to confirm your information, right? Usually by that point, they're already talking to you like a friend. So, but I just need to confirm your information and lock this approval in place. So happy that we got approved with Prosperity. Now, if they say I only want $20 a month and you can't find anything exact, 20 is a little low, but regardless of what they say, if they say they want a particular amount, and there's no option that's going to give you exactly what they asked for, be mindful of it, because maybe going to, she said $30, $32, most people jump on that, versus the next lowest option, just with the rate calculator, it was either $32 or $23. Go with $32. Don't shoot yourself in your foot. And by that point, they're usually ready to go. If then they're like, I really don't know. So then you may say, okay, so we have the approval. The main thing's taking advantage of it. Then what is it that you know on a good month or bad month you'll be able to comfortably maintain? Because that's our biggest thing, making sure that we can take advantage of this approval while we have it. Everything going on, the main thing is locking some coverage in place. I know you said that Susan worries so much and she's living check to check right now, so I don't want her to have to deal with that. And you already talked about it, so glad we're able to find this. What do you know you can afford? They'll tell you amount. Let me see if we can get something that's about there. Give me 1 second, and then you give them whatever. Okay, so they do have $2,000 worth of coverage. This will get her started. This will be this. We'll get that. We got the approval. Let's lock this in place. What's your middle initial? You move into the application. So typically it does not go that far. If it does have to go that, then because the main thing is taking advantage of the approval. That is the biggest thing. So got it. You can always add coverage later on, but we have the approval now. Let's take advantage of it. We'll call over the underwriting, get all that stuff done. Woo! So glad you were approved. What's your middle initial? My 7 application.
So do you have people that call back and want to add?
Mm-hmm. Yep. If they add it before their initial premium, it's a lot easier. But yeah, people will call back and add.
Is it because they get the welcome packet and they're like, oh, this is legit. Let me add some more.
Sometimes they'll even add coverage as you're going through the application, because then they're like, okay, they've had a chance to think about it. They're like, well, actually, I do want to go with that. And I'll show you guys how to change it if you've already gone into the app. Well, you guys will see the app all together, but I'll show you guys all of that so that you can clearly see. Since you guys all have your computers and we have our ladies at home, I'll probably have us jump on Zoom on Monday, and I'll go through an app and show you guys some clicking and just share my screen so you guys can see it. It's easier than trying to look at it up there.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything on that video when you printed it.
Yeah, I sent it to everyone, I sent it to everyone in your Outlook emails. If you guys have your Outlook set up, personal preference, whatever you guys want, but you can open up your Outlooks on your phone if you set it up to do so. I do it just because you never know what you might get. And this is your money. However much time you are willing and able to invest in this should be something that you guys are looking at as a beautiful career opportunity and not just a job. You can really make as much money as you choose to make, and depending on how much energy and effort you are willing to put into it. But again, with the leads coming the way they do, and the flexibility as far as you can stay. If you want to take calls not take calls, but callbacks on the weekend. Once you guys learn the process, what you do and how much you do with it, and again, we are growing. So however much time, effort, energy you are willing to make an opportunity for yourself or create an opportunity for yourself, there are a lot of things that will be naturally created just with how we're growing. So where you fit and how you do and what, it's really up to you deciding and putting in the effort for it. So yeah. I don't know what question let me down that, but but it's a true statement. So that is showing you guys what to do. Because once you guys learn all the skills and you know what to do, run with it. Make your money. Like, do not be afraid to make your money. Don't set goals. And do not just do the little bit to be comfortable. Like, set your goals to where they almost scare you so that you have to push yourself to really get to the next level, whatever that means for you. So it is 12:36. So please be back on time at 1:10. We'll be back at 1:10 sharp. Please and thank you. And thank you.
How do we handle if we have like family members we want to sell to?
You can do that. I've written several policies, one for myself and my mother. I've written a couple of personal policies, but you can do that.
Yourself? No.
That one possible.
No way.
Don't do me.
No.
Don't do that.
No, I'm not 50 yet.
I didn't think you were, I was confused.
She better not be considering we got the same birthday. I'm gonna be like, hold on. Wait a minute. How?
All right, see you ladies at 1:10. Is that what we said? Yes, that is what we said. 1:10, ladies. All right, enjoy your lunch.
Did you?
Thank you.
1:10.
1:10.
1:10.
Thank you. Yes.
1:10.
Thank you.
I got it.
Thank you. Yes.